Well, it's time now for a look through the international papers, and for that I'm joined once again on set by Solange Moujon. Hi, Solange.
Hi, Hector.
You're starting us off with one of the main stories of the day, the record-breaking pollution we've been seeing in New Delhi.
Yeah, the toxic smog is naturally front-page news today in the Times of India. The paper says, with its headline, Atmosphere, F-E-A-R, that millions of people who live in the world's most polluted city are literally choking and potentially choking to death for some of them who have weak immune systems. Now, Delhi residents rose Sunday to eye-burning air that was 17 times more polluted than the maximum safe levels. Now, to give you an idea of how bad that is, the WHO recommends no more than 25 micrograms of fine pollution particles. Now, 25 micrograms. Delhi was at nearly 500. Alternate driving is going into effect today. Schools are closed. But the paper says that such measures including handing out millions of masks, stopping some flights, are just a drop in the bucket to a monumental health emergency.
And a lot of people are saying that the government simply isn't doing enough to tackle this crisis.
Yeah, and Prime Minister Modi was, according to one cartoonist at the Hindu, conveniently in Thailand attending the ASEAN summit and not having to breathe the poisonous haze. So there's some poking fun at him there. Now, two government ministers have also been criticized for their tweets on Sunday over how to deal with the potentially life-threatening pollution. The Daily Auto recounts how the Minister of the Environment recommended that people start their day with music to feel better, while the Health Minister recommended people eat carrots to combat the negative effect of the pollution. Now, these tweets have gone viral in India and abroad. And the Times of India, on its back page, says the city and the government have become the butt of viral jokes. And it goes through some of those satirical takes on the deadly smog, including a play from the India Times on Hervé's classic Tintin in Delhi, and now Tintin and Captain Haddock are walking into a very smoggy and unbreathable Delhi. You also have another play there on Delhi being like Chernobyl.
Now, staying with some more environment news, today is the first day that any country that signed up to the 2015 Paris Climate Accord is formally allowed to begin withdrawing from it. What exactly does that mean?
Well, one of the terms of the deal, of the 2015 deal, was that for 3 years following its application in 2016, no country could withdraw. And today marks that anniversary. And Time magazine tells us that this means that there's now an opening for Donald Trump to formally pull out, which he has repeatedly said he will do. Now, the French paper Libération is also covering this. It says that the Trump administration can now send, from today, the formal letter retracting the U.S. from the deal, but that technically the United States will remain within the climate accord for another year. So if there is a withdrawal today, it would officially go into effect on November 3rd, 2020, the day after the next presidential election.
OK, so turning now to a special investigation in the New York Times today into agriculture subsidies in the European Union.
Yeah, the New York Times has a fascinating article today about the nearly 60 billion euros in farm subsidies that the EU hands out every year. Now, you might say farm subsidies, how boring. But the Times explains that this money from European taxpayers is dished out in a very opaque way and being exploited by, quote, the undemocratic forces that threaten the bloc from within, end quote. In investigating 9 countries over the past year, they found that the basic rule of the subsidies, that you get paid for how much land you own, has pushed people like the Czech and Hungarian prime ministers to collect for themselves or through their cronies millions in EU taxpayer dollars, leading to a sort of feudal system that does little to help the farmers who the system is supposed to protect. And instead, it props up oligarchs and politicians like Viktor Orban, who have created a mafia-like land grabs that then allow the subsidies to flow down to himself or his entourage. Now, to make matters worse, the Times also recounts how European officials made the investigation incredibly difficult. They explained that the EU refused to hand over data of where the subsidies actually go, and, quote, efforts to impede the reporting was not just maddening, but, quote, bordered on the absurd.
Wow, mafia-worthy stories coming out of Brussels, it seems. Well, finally, from you, Solange, to cheer us up a bit, it seems you have found the answer to happiness.
Oh, I hope so. For ages, there have been studies about the health benefits of being in nature, going for walks in forests and gardening, and how all of this can make us happier. Well, today, The Guardian has an interesting article about the benefits of water. And it goes through multiple studies that have shown that being by the sea, sitting by a lake or a river, or even being near a fountain can make us happier. And the article explains that there are physical benefits, cleaner air, more sunlight, which makes you think they should have moved Delhi to the sea. But anyway, the cleaner air, more sunlight, exercise benefits like swimming, all of that helps. But The Guardian says there's, quote, a psychologically restorative effect of water, one that they say is greater than other natural areas. And scientists believe this may actually be due to the ebb and flow of tides and their ability to, quote, induce positive moods.
Who knew being happy was quite so easy?
Exactly.
Solange Mougin with a look to the international papers. Thank you very much.